Hello everyone, my name is Aawulenna and I'm here today to share my 2025 Inspiring Women in STEM Fellowship Program story with you. I'm a first year PhD student at the University of Tasmania. A prominent son of Ghana, Dr. Kwadwo Agri, made this statement in the 1880s. He said that if you educate a boy, you educate an individual, but if you educate a woman, you educate a whole nation. He couldn't have said it any better because I am a testament to this statement. I am from Ghana, which is located, my hometown is located up north on the map of Ghana. I come from a family of 7, but I'm the third born among 5 siblings. Growing up, I was just a rural girl with so many dreams, but no hope of how I was going to achieve them. I grew up seeing my mom play the role of a breadwinner, although she never went to school for no fault of hers. But I grew up seeing her as my role model because she was one woman who was determined to see her daughters go to school, to have the education that she never had. Although we were struggling financially, my dad prioritized our only brother and enrolled him in school while we, the girls, were at home helping with house chores and supporting with other farm-related activities. So this singular act by my dad alone left me with some bitterness that I grew up wishing I was born a boy. But things changed for us, the girls, when my auntie came home one time when I was about 8 years old and then forcefully took all of us, the girls, to school. And I must say that was the turning point for me. From day one that I stepped foot in the classroom, I never looked back. I committed myself to my books and I eventually graduated as the overall best student for our junior high school year group. Then I continued to the senior high school, completed, and then went all the way to the university. So I attended the University for Development Studies, and as my undergraduate studies, I studied agricultural science. I chose agriculture because whilst I was in the village where I spent most of my time growing up, there used to be an agricultural extension officer who would come to our community to provide extension services to the farmers. So looking at the way he was helping farmers to solve problems on their farms, helping them to increase their yields, I took an inspiration from that and told myself that, okay, when I grow up, I would want to also come and help people to solve their problems, especially those in the rural areas. So this was the motivation behind me studying agriculture, because by then that was the only course I felt that if I should study it, I would be able to help other people to solve their problems. So once I successfully graduated from the University for Development Studies, I had the opportunity to work with the Ministry for Food and Agriculture, and I must say it was an environment I found myself as the only woman among about 22 men as my work colleagues. So you can imagine what that means for me. However, whilst working there, I had the opportunity to visit farms on a daily basis, and I saw firsthand the challenges that women and girls were facing, also coupled with the effects of climate change, social norms that negatively impact women. So based on the problems they were facing, I started asking myself, what is it that I will be able to do to help them overcome some of these challenges? And that was where I started looking for the opportunity to go back to school. Luckily for me, I won the Australian Awards for Africa Scholarship, which took me to the University of Western Australia, Perth, to pursue a master's degree in agricultural science. So this is me with my son on my graduation day, and then on my right hand side is me with some of my colleagues who were also awardees of the Australian Awards. So I graduated successfully, and once I was done, I headed back home to Ghana to put my new knowledge to use. Upon return, I had the opportunity to work with World Vision International and then Plan International. These are two big organizations working in Ghana to champion women's rights, girls' rights, and other women empowerment issues. So over 7 years working with these organizations, I had the opportunity to empower women to be financially independent. So this is me facilitating a session with some women groups in one of our project communities. And then beneath the picture, this other picture is a women's group that I facilitated to form the Village Savings and Loans Associations, that they will do their weekly savings, and then at the end of the year they will be able to do share out. So this was a share out event I went to facilitate for them. So aside empowering women to be financially independent, I also had the opportunity to mentor young girls on career pathways, and then also added my voice to issues relating to land rights for women, the importance of girl child education, issues bordering on unpaid care work that seems to burden women. So whilst out there on the field working on some of these issues, I saw how women and girls were excluded from the decision-making process and how that really affected every facet of their life. Then I also saw how women's livelihoods were being affected because of drought and then climate change. So I felt that it was time for me to get a higher knowledge, to better position myself, and then be able to influence policy, be able to advocate for these women and help build their agency. So my search for a PhD started. I must say it was a stressful process for me. I had to send out so many applications to different universities in search of a supervisor, in search of scholarship opportunities. And at a point, I nearly gave up, but I had to keep on going. Luckily for me, I had an offer from the University of Tasmania, and then a year later on, I started my PhD studies at UTAS. So my research is looking at the opportunities for including indigenous women's knowledge and voices in agricultural water management. Women, as we all know, they play a key role when it comes to food production and then also the day-to-day use of water resources. They hold a wealth of traditional knowledge, but when you look at the institutions for managing agricultural water, these institutions tend to be dominated by men, with women often excluded from the decision-making process. So with my research, we want to understand what are the key barriers that are preventing women from participating in the decision-making process. And then what are the opportunities that we stand to gain if we are able to include women in this decision-making process. And to enable me do this, I will be visiting some indigenous communities to talk to Aboriginal women, men, community elders, to understand their perspectives of women's participation in water governance. And then I'll also be exploring existing policy documents in relation to water management to see how these policy documents are excluding or including women in water governance. We believe strongly that if we are able to do this, we'll be advancing the water rights and interests of indigenous women, especially Aboriginal women in Tasmania. I must say my journey has not been rosy. It's at a point I had to wear 3 hats as a mother whilst working full-time and then studying. It came with a lot of pressures on me, cultural pressure, because I had to balance my work and then with family responsibilities. Our society is such that whether you are a working class woman or not, you should still be able to fulfill your family responsibilities. And then again, here is the case, I was in an environment where I was the only woman, so I had to work extra hard to be able to prove my capability, and then for my voice to also be heard where it mattered most. So it was really a very difficult time for me. Then again, I was in an environment where, or I come from a society where women are perceived to be less competent compared to our male colleagues. So you have to always work the extra mile to prove your capability. Emotionally, I was drained. I had self-doubts because this was a phase I was in caring for a baby all by myself, a phase I didn't really adequately prepare for, that to take care of my son all by myself. So it came with a whole lot of emotional stress, with self-doubt, but I had to navigate. Financially, when I got the opportunity to study at the University of Western Australia, I had to go with my son, and taking him there, childcare is really expensive because I had to put him in childcare and then to enable me attend lectures and then do my academic work. So financially, it was draining for me, I must say. But through it all, I was able to overcome these challenges. So with the STEM grant that I have won, my project is looking at distributing sanitary pads to selected girls in Nandom municipality. And why have I chosen the sanitary pads distribution? There are many girls out there who have so many dreams. They are navigating life without any direction, without anyone to guide them on what to do. So they are lacking mentorship opportunities. And then, coupled with financial difficulties, when they are menstruating, it is difficult for them to have access to safe sanitary materials. So most resort to the use of unhygienic materials, which at the end of the day, they get infections and then it leaves them with other health issues. Then we are in a society where men and boys still stigmatize girls whenever they are menstruating, and then by mistake they stain themselves. So with this stigmatization and then the difficulty in accessing safe sanitary materials, they tend to be missing from school whenever they are menstruating. And recently, that was March 2025, the government of Ghana, they made a pledge of committing about 43 million Australian dollars to supporting girls in second cycle institution with sanitary pads. So this shows how timely my IWES project is. So with the grant that I won, I was able to distribute sanitary pads to 282 girls across 5 schools in Nandom, and these girls will be able to menstruate comfortably without having to worry for the next 2 months. And then I also organized radio discussions for them to talk to the men, create awareness about menstrual hygiene issues and then how it is affecting the girls, and then for men and boys to come on board and then play the role of allies so that they can help these girls to menstruate with dignity. We also had the public health nurses who went to the various schools to talk to these girls, educate them about the do's and then the don'ts of menstrual hygiene. So I must say the key highlight of this whole project for me was the fact that we had male students and then the male teachers who volunteered and came out in their numbers to really demonstrate to the girls how they should fix sanitary pads on their panties. And this shows that we are making a positive step in the right direction for men to be playing key roles in this discussion. So that was the main highlight of this whole activity for me. I say thank you to everyone who has inspired, mentored, and supported me along the journey. Your belief in me made all the difference and then have brought me this far. Thank you so much.